moving right along to new business, and this evening our pleasure to introduce Clint and Corbin from Matthew 25, and they are presenting the concept that you may have seen in the Gazette, the Ellis Urban Village proposal. And so I'm going to turn it forward to you guys. Do you need my...
Sure. It may take me just a second to pull this up. I thought I all set up earlier. Let me see. Okay, so in case this is your first time hearing about this, we did have some packets here last month for people to take home and look at, and I'm not sure if we have any of those left here this time. But that's fine. If anybody has any questions about it afterwards, you can either call Matthew 25 or email us or get in touch with the resource center and they know how to get a hold of us. We can sit down and talk one-on-one if you want. But basically what this is, trying to look at an area of the neighborhood that's kind of run down, that wouldn't be all that attractive to developers building new houses, and maybe apartments in the 100-year floodplain, so it's not really easy to build on anyway. And looking at how would we turn that into something that was a nicer part of the neighborhood. So come up with this concept looking at kind of what we've learned from different conferences around the country and things that are going on in other communities. So I'll share this concept with you. I should tell you that at this point it's just a concept. We have funding in place for some of the housing, but not for all of it. And so part of the reason we're here tonight is hopefully after hearing about it, you all would take a vote as the neighborhood association to support this idea publicly to kind of endorse it. And that will help us when we start looking for funding and that sort of thing. So this kind of shows you where it is in terms of the bigger picture of Cedar Rapids. I'll scroll down a little bit and then come back to this. We're looking at, I can zoom in on this a little bit. We're looking at this area right here is Casey. This is Ellis Boulevard and Avenue. So we're looking at from Ellis over to 4th Street, and then from F Avenue up to H Avenue. This is Diamond B right here. These are the two school warehouse buildings. Just to give you a sense of where this is. And another map here to show you. Again, that same map, the yellow dots are houses that have already been torn down. And there are other houses that are scheduled to be torn down, but they haven't gotten to them yet. The yellow dots are the ones that have already been torn down. This shows you kind of what things look like right now. Got these two school warehouse buildings that are empty, and the school in fall will send out a request for proposals where they'll ask for people to give their ideas about what they would do with these buildings if they were purchased from the school district. So we'll be turning in a proposal for that. And then across the street in the school buildings, it's boarded up houses and houses waiting to be demolished. There are a few people that have moved back in there, but not very many. Just to give you an idea, it's kind of a mixture of zoning, in case you're interested in that question. Some of it, most of it's residential, but some of it's commercial or light industrial. And then right through here are the railroad tracks that go to Diamond B, and mostly to the east of the railroad tracks is 100-year floodplain, so we couldn't really do much building in that area. And then the pink area is 500-year floodplain. So there's a little bit of 100-year floodplain that kind of dips down in here on the corner. So we wouldn't really, we wouldn't do any new building here. Basically in this block is where most of the new construction would happen. This gives you a little bit of a picture of kind of what would happen. This is these are the two school warehouse buildings. This is that block I was talking about putting in new housing. A portion of this development plan is an urban farm, and this is something that's happening all over the country right now, where people are starting these small, kind of intensively grown farms in urban areas, so that people can learn about fresh food and how to grow it, eat it, produce it. It's an educational opportunity for kids, and also a job creation opportunity for people in the neighborhood. A lot of times it happens in neighborhoods where there's really not a whole lot else going on economically, and rather than more bars moving in or convenience stores or things like that, it's trying to put a positive new development in the neighborhood. And then this over here says housing, but this really wouldn't be housing unless the new levee was put in, because it's pretty much all in the 100-year floodplain right now. So I'm going to zoom in on this next. This is an overall plan of what that space would look like. And you have Casey's General Store right here, and then Rumors is down here, and Dynasty, and then Reliable Machine and Manufacturing. So we're looking at taking these areas where houses are already torn down or are going to be torn down, and putting these small farm plots in there, and then we have talking about putting in like an interpretive center where people would come and kind of learn about what can be done for growing produce in their backyards maybe, or how you can build or rehab houses in energy efficient ways in old neighborhoods like ours. You can ignore this blue line right here. That was a concept that we may not go with, but these are the two warehouse buildings. This warehouse building we're talking about turning into apartments, where they'd be like 2-bedroom apartments or moderate income families. And then this is the old food distribution center, and in there we would put a distribution center for the produce that's grown on the farm, as well as produce from other farmers, so it'd be kind of like a fresh food co-op idea. And then right now we have some programming space for Matthew 25 that's in the Hubbard Ice building over by Unchecked Park. We would move that into here so we'd have a youth center, because we can't stay in the Hubbard Ice building permanently if the plans for the levee go through. And then we'd put in about 6 or 8 new houses in this area that would all be, they would fit in with kind of the style of the neighborhood and be energy efficient, affordable houses that would all cost around $100,000 for that after the city's subsidy program. Let's scroll down and show you also farming, how it exists in other places. There's also some pictures of kind of ideas that we've seen around other
towns or on the internet. Just pictures of like what smaller farms in the city can look like. Ideally, things like this where, you know, the farm would have a shelter where people could have picnics or gather for like family reunions or other types of events, and we probably have some type of market there that people could come and have a little farmers in the neighborhood. There's a combination probably of growing actually in the ground and also some raised beds you can see in this bottom left-hand corner. And then these show hoop houses kind of right in here. We would probably have more like hoop houses rather than hoop houses. I think we can get grant funding for that. That's the main idea of it. And so now I guess I would ask if anybody has questions about the project.
You made a statement that I was kind of interested in. It was my understanding that the loss tax thing to build levees was turned down. And you made a statement there that when the levy was built. You know what it is?
No, I guess I did. No, if when, I meant if, you know, I'm hopeful.
I know that, but I just wondered if, you know, if you were on to something that we're not on. Maybe you could rephrase that.
Any other questions? Yeah, Robert.
Well, I got two actually. Talking about the housing and everybody that, there's people that live there now. Are they going to be displaced?
No. I
kind of figured that's what I wanted everybody to hear.
Oh yeah, no. If they live there, then they live there. It's not like we come through and move them out.
What about people who currently own property there and they want to rebuild? Are they still going to be able to do that if we do this?
Yeah, there are. Most of the people that own property there
Have already rebuilt.
There, but most of the lots the city controls now. And actually, some of in terms of the housing, the housing part, kind of up in the top left corner, that's already been awarded to block by block, right? Spoken on that, right? And then we're still seeking permission for the farmland part of it.
How many houses you've been awarded what?
The 6 lots there.
Okay, 6 lots.
6 empty lots.
So all this, have you calculated how much you're going to take off the tax bill or long-term to run? Or, you know, you're saying grants, it's a lot of money. If I just turn the water.
For the housing part of it, we have been given lots from the city so that we can build new housing on those lots. It's part of a program that, what's it called, the infill housing program that the city started, and I think this is round 3 of it. Single family new construction, yeah. So we've been awarded 5 or 6 of those lots in there. We will start building those houses next spring. And then in terms of the warehouse, that'll take quite a bit of funding. So we're going to be having proposal meetings with the school district, and if they decide to sell us those buildings, there'll be a capital campaign that'll be a part of that, and we're seeking tax credits on that.
Just looking at this presentation, it looks like it's a phased project.
Right.
And in keeping with this, what kind of time frame do you see, this happening?
So, Clint, you can correct me if I get off on that. Clint's been in more of those conversations than I have about the time frame. But we're talking about starting construction on single-family homes in spring of 2012, spring of next year. And then we would, if we get the city to give us the land for the farm, and that would also begin in spring. And we might, if it happens sometime during the winter, then we would start, designing it and stuff during the winter, and then planting in spring. In the school building, the timeline for that process is that they send out the request for proposals in like August, and then they would make a decision on those sometime in the fall of 2011, and then then it's a matter of like how fast can you get the funding and get the design in place.
How much do just one follow-up. When you say we, who collectively are we?
Okay, the question was who is we? I'm saying we a lot. Right now, for the new construction, that would be that's part of the block by block program, and that at this point is a partnership of Matthew 25 and the Affordable Housing Network. For the rest of it, that's Matthew 25.
So Matthew 25 being administered is, with all due respect, getting into the college system.
That's true. That is correct. Yes.
And just help me with that, because you implied that in order to fund the project, you're going to have to go get grants. Now, I'm not separating church and state here, but how do you propose to do that?
Well, so my question was, if this is a ministry and now you're getting into development work, like community development work, how do you propose to get funding for that being available in church and state? I should clarify that Matthew 25 is a 501c3, so we're different than the nonprofit status of a church, which gives us a little more freedom. And it also, but regardless of that, there are both secular and Christian development corporations in the United States, and so this would just be doing like a development corporation, but
if Matthew 25 is a 501c3, it's got that 501c3 because of its religious affiliation.
No.
It isn't.
No.
Oh, so
We're classified as a human services organization. Yeah, so human services organization.
So you went through all the paperwork to file for 501c3 and got the human services designation. Thank you very much.
You asked a question about
School board, have they been asked how much the building's worth to get back on the tax roll? I'm really concerned on how we can support this in the long term. I mean, are you going to have grant money to heat these buildings? I mean, is it going to be supported by affordable housing? Are they going to be, who's going to rent? I mean, we need, in this state, we need to get this back on the tax roll to get the levy done, if that ever gets done.
my understanding of that. His question was about the school book building. We're concerned about getting that back on the tax rolls. And how the long-term funding for that space, how would that
it's never going to tax rolls.
And the utilities be paid. And so the model that we're looking at is with the brick building. Let me go ahead and scroll back up to
I can rephrase the question for him.
So there's these two buildings here. There's this long brick one, and then this white one actually sits to the east of it. This is G Avenue right here. So we're talking about taking this long brick building and making both floors of it apartments, so that the rent from those apartments would pay for the stuff that goes on in this building, which is the nonprofit organization. Basically what Matthew 25 does right now, plus the food stuff that we were talking about.
Courtney? So Matthew 25 doesn't pay property taxes since they're a nonprofit, right?
We wouldn't pay property
would?
taxes on the apartment part of it or anything that was like retail space.
Okay, I grew up on that block, and I was just wondering if you've talked to the people that rebuilt down there, because I have, and they didn't know anything about this. Have you guys talked to them?
We haven't talked to lots of people on the block about it because, we have the housing part. The housing part was part of the whole block.
Because I know that, like this farmland, I know that they want that lot next to their house, and they're one of the two houses here. So how do they get the land before you guys get it? I mean, is that possible?
I don't know. They'd have to ask the city for it the same way we did, as far as I understand.
Well, we don't ever understand this process of how the city does all this. So I'm just wondering if they're going to be given the same opportunity that you guys are given to get that land.
I can't answer that because I don't know what the city's going to do and how they're going to decide. All I know is that we went to them and said we'd like to, this is the plan of what I'd like to do.
They've paid property taxes there for about 50 years, just so everybody knows. Thank you.
I approached the city about wanting a meeting for it to complain to their own. And what they said to me exactly was, we're not selling the land. Should I said, well, are you giving them away? I guess I'm not understanding either. What is it that I need to do? What did you do that I should do so that I can do that idea too? And I'm sure the people that live next to her do as well.
I'm totally willing to answer that question. To the best of my knowledge, you gotta understand I'm not the city. So what I can tell you is that the city has a single-family new construction program. And we applied to that program, and that's what we did. You know, I did want to say that this is the plan that we came up with our own ideas. But part of the reason we wanted to bring it here tonight wasn't just to say this is what we're going to do, but also we want to know, do you like this idea? Do you have suggestions for improvements or things that you think are ridiculous? Not that we'll just do everything you say, but we at least want your input, you know. So I'd like to hear from people who, if you have any suggestions, or we can also think those in writing.
Yeah, I would just say that's a very real statement. I mean, these buildings have a lot to do with the history of this neighborhood. I mean, they were originally pump factories. They helped create a lot of the jobs that helped get this community built up. We believe that, that history should be incorporated into the design, that they should help to tell the history of this area. They should also help to tell the history of the flood and what happened. So we want to incorporate all of that into the building too. So we really do want your ideas. The reason that there's a community center aspect, the kids' education center, is because we know that children in this area who've been struggling in terms of educational success, and we want to do all we can through after-school programming to increase that. So we think that is something that kids have been yearning for. They've been showing up in droves during the summer programming. They think that they've been showing up during the spring for some of the classes that we've offered, and there's enthusiasm for next year even. But we don't have all the answers. We're just trying to listen to all of you to get more answers. That's what we hope is part of this whole idea of being a non-profit rather than a for-profit developer, is that we work for the community and want your ideas.
Could I make a suggestion? You talked about the history of the area. Well, that area is time check. So why couldn't you just call it Time Check Urban Village? I don't think the people down there are going to go for Ellis, because Ellis is a different area altogether.
Yeah, I think you were thinking Ellis because of Ellis Boulevard that runs
right
through the neighborhood.
But that's the side of time, that's time check. That's all I'm saying. All right, thank you.
I don't know how much time you guys allotted for this too.
We have a lot of time, but I'm sure we can answer a lot of questions.
I'd like to ask one question. Sure. I have a couple of what facility does the urban farms are actually in floodplain compared to one that is floodplain?
My understanding is that all of it is in the 100-year floodplain except for maybe one lot that's right next to the railroad track.
The other thing is that I think we have to do a city-wide consideration, not that the neighbors not very wide, because the city is using the funds to help you. Those funds are coming out of the general account of the city, regardless if it's of the CPC funds or the home improvement funds that's coming out of the city funds to do it. And a lot of people are going to ask how you got this property for free from the city when you're violating state law. Because government entities can only give away property to government entities under state law.
I don't know about that. We just
They're going to
going through the.
You're going to run the same problem that they did with Oak Knoll. Because there's an issue with this, how you guys got this property for free.
Well, we haven't gotten farm property yet, and we went through the same exact process as everyone else in terms of the new construction program. I mean, it wasn't like it was just open to us and not anybody else. We applied, and nobody else wanted those lots that we were. At least somebody else that applied wanted those lots.
But we didn't know that there was a program.
Just the home construction.
Right, and they're doing business as block by block when they're doing the construction.
Right. Yeah.
So the whole system is being controlled from the city to you guys to the end of guys. Everyone else is set out.
Well, there are lots of developers that have
Right, I understand that. But the part that you guys are doing is all under affordable housing network doing business as block by block. So you're saying that all the developers get it for free too?
Yeah.
Why? That's my
Nobody has this building yet. No, we know that the school is going to get rid of this building one way or the other. So all we're doing is saying, we know that's coming. Here's an idea for this building. There will be other developers that try to get these buildings too.
I'm sorry, I have to include that we have a time frame here before Marshall. So I want to move along and give the others that are here. We could talk about this all night, and I really appreciate you coming. And those that would like to talk to you afterwards, I'm sure will. Thank you for the presentation.